Hello everyone, this is Persephone and this video is going to be a wild ride. We are going to cover several topics and come to a very black-pilled conclusion. So if you like Blackpill series in my channel, drama and general deep philosophical questions, please stay. The inspiration for this video comes surprisingly from my narcissistic mother that we had a huge fight indirectly through my father, and then she said that ever since I started making significantly more money compared to my civilian jobs, I have become a deranged sociopath. Yes, she's actually diagnosing people from the hair psychologist from Mordor Place from a distance. Long story short, my narcissistic mother is a person that she has repeatedly said that she's willing to do anything, absolutely anything to lose weight besides diet and exercise. She doesn't do those, she hates them. And I found out because my father called me that she had fat removal surgery from her arms, from her underarms. Before you say, did she need it? Maybe she had lose weight after weight loss? No, she didn't. That was completely unnecessary. It could have been avoided, but if you don't want to do diet and exercise and you have fat arms, I guess you have to go under the knife. Now you're going to say, why is that our business and why is that your business? Because he told me that I have to go visit her at the hospital. First of all, the virus that must not be named because it causes the demonetization fairy to visit the video is still out there. Why would I go to the hospital to see someone I really hate who tried to kill me, who had completely unnecessary surgery? I said I'm not going. Then he got mad at me and then he started to say, when did I ever restrict you? When did I ever try to control you? When did I ever try to get you to move back to Jerkwater Heights where you came from? And so on. That was the thing number one that started like my brain thinking into a different direction. To answer what he asked quickly, it's not because he doesn't want to, it's because he can't. Because there is only one thing that my father used to hold over my head before I became 18, and that was money. After that, he knows that if he tells me to do something, I'm just going to say no if I don't agree. Everyone else has went back to Jerkwater Heights because they lost their jobs for the reason that we all know, that causes the massive collapse in economy. I didn't. Then, the past month that I wasn't active here, I kept having messages, around 300 messages in 1 month, which is a huge number, asking the same thing. The short summary of what they were asking is, are you stupid? Why would you want to throw away the one thing that made you famous, femdom, and rebrand yourself? That who knew you before that when we were making stupid AMWF videos and pathetic drama videos? True, no one knew me. And many people told me that rebranding is extremely difficult, that you are going to fail, that most people on YouTube who try to rebrand, they just go nowhere, they disappear. And that is also true. In general, I believe that you shouldn't listen to strangers unless they are in huge numbers saying the same thing. That when there are people of different races, different ages, different occupations all over the world and they're asking, are you stupid? Maybe it's time to pause for a second and ask yourself, am I? Maybe I am, who knows? And what I couldn't understand and I had to ask myself is, we all know that when you do OnlyFans and similar jobs, there are going to be crazy people and there are going to be great people. And there are going to be neutral people. And the first year that I used to do OnlyFans, I had a lot more crazy people compared to today, let's say. So why did something that I used to do and endure doing, the harassment, and I would focus on the financial gain, became insufferable? Have I changed? Am I really the deranged psychopath my mother says that I am? What's going on? The third thing is that during my life, I used to be depressed and I was diagnosed with depression so many times, especially when I was like in high school as a minor. I had all of this stupid advice that doesn't work, that go do bubble baths, go to nature, eat healthy. I'm not saying that these things aren't good for you, but they're not going to cure your depression. Let's be real. Because your depression, there's a pretty high chance your depression isn't even real as a mental illness. Maybe what's real is that your depression is a byproduct of the abuse you're going through and the powerlessness. I'm not going to pretend I'm a psychologist here, I'm just sharing my own experience. Maybe someone can get help, maybe it's, I don't know, you can see it as a conspiracy theory. I combined all of the three things that I said, and I realized that making a lot of money at once caused one change in me. It gave me a self-confidence that I didn't have before, to to put a stop in abuse and other bullshit the moment they begin, or much faster compared to the past. And I have a conspiracy theory here. I believe that we can divide people in this world in 3 broad categories. One category is the people who are completely deranged and they will do anything without any concern. They will kill, they will abuse, and they usually end up in jail. Another category is the good people, the ones that they go on with their business, they don't bother you, they don't see you and feel like they should take advantage of you or they should harm you. And then the third category, which is by far the biggest, is a huge gray area. The people who are normally good, but that doesn't really come from genuine kindness. Let's use an example to not sound like weird. Have you ever heard this question that if you are in a committed relationship and your favorite celebrity meets you and they offer a one-night stand and they say that, you know, I saw you and I have a huge crush on you and we can go to my private place and no one will ever know, you'll never get caught. Would you go cheat on your husband or on your wife or your partner if it's a non-binary person? And the great majority of people said, I would do it. If it was my favorite celebrity, like a person I really find super attractive and it was a 99% chance I won't get caught, I would do it. Is this person good or bad? I'm not going to answer this moral question because I don't like philosophical questions that much, but I'm going to say to you, this person will do as much as they can get away with. And when they can get away with a lot of bad shit, the temptation becomes overwhelming. It takes a person of outstanding character to not just give in. One thing about the Blackpill that I really like is that it runs much deeper than what I originally thought. By Blackpill, I mean our real reality. Not what society is telling you, not what religion is telling you, not what the stupid people around you are telling you, a real human nature and the real world. And I realized that when I started on the internet a few years ago, and when I started OnlyFans, which happened, I think, around after I had my YouTube channel for almost a year and people kept suggesting it, I was a much broken person, a much more ignorant person compared to now. And I didn't even realize. And the reason for that is because I never had the ability to make a lot of money at once. Because I was working normal jobs, there was always a threshold. There was always a salary. There wasn't this thing that you can make $9,000 or 900 in a day or something like that fast and easy. And I'm going to tell you something that everyone in the adult industry is going to say that I'm stupid and hate me. It is easy money. It is much easier than any of my vanilla jobs. I'm not saying that it's completely easy like for everyone. This is just my experience. But for me, I was already eating healthy. I was already doing the self-care. So I knew how to edit. I knew how to take pictures, to do all of that stuff and post it. It was much easier than having to work jobs where you tolerated real-life sexual harassment or you tolerated abusive colleagues or you didn't have time to eat and sleep. So it was, for me, it was easy. And then I started to feel a confidence that it was 100% based on financial power that I had never felt before. I have made a video about that in the past when I was actually having my father's cat like Tienzi. That is, I do cat fostering, I had to do some cat sitting, and Tienzi had this problem, this urethral obstruction that sometimes happens to older fat male cats that he couldn't pee, and I had to take him to the veterinary hospital, to the ER in the middle of the night. And I remember I was carrying him and I was wearing like short shorts and a top. And usually I have this thing that in my real life, I don't wear expensive clothes because it's dangerous. You can be jumped if people just start seeing designer clothes and stuff. Imagine, I think it was some kind of cat shirt, like $10 shirt with a cat on it and some shorts. And the people who saw me at the clinic, at first they were thinking I'm one of those broke people who's going to come back to save their cat and so on, and they took the ends inside for tests. I was waiting, and then they came out and they said, we can save him, but it's going to be 600 euros, so what do you want to do? Do you want to euthanize him? And I said, wait. I went to the ATM machine, I took out 600 in cold cash, I counted it in front of them, and I gave it to them. And I had never done that before in my entire life. And I saw their jaws dropping. And they were using casual language with me, and they started using honorifics and polite language after that, and treating me completely differently. And long story short, the Tienzi became super healthy and happy and was returned, and that was that. And that was the first incident that I will never forget, because it was the first time that I realized, like, wow, how people start seeing you differently. And the more money I started to make, the more my patience started to run thin, because I was thinking, I'm not going to put up with your bullshit anymore. And also because I became busier, and the people that I used to be friends with now wouldn't even spit in their direction, like all day on Twitter posting, posting about antinatalism. I don't even know you. All day on Reddit posting, like, bye, loser. I'm interested in people who are driven, and they have careers, and they have their own dreams and goals, and they're also money-making oriented. And I don't say this in a sense of greed. We live in a dystopia, and if you have watched my past videos, you know that the virus was just the beginning, and things will become worse and worse. I plan to make a video about the metaverse soon. That is not going to be like easy video to make or positive. So my point is, it started to change me in a way of more like rearranging my personality and bringing my real self out, instead of just making me something that I'm not. I wasn't pretending. I just wasn't aware. It's not the same. I'm sharing this video because I want to ask you, are you really depressed? Or maybe you're just powerless and you're being cucked from morning till night from people that you're afraid to say anything because they hold your survival in their hands. I know so many people that they are adult children of the toxic friends my father has, who are all on various psychiatric drugs because they had to move back with their parents, who were also abusive. And to connect this with the femdom thing, the abuse had lessened, the sexual harassment had lessened, but I have various sources of income. And after some point, I started thinking, I'm too good for this. As narcissistic as that sounds, I started telling myself, you don't deserve to be sexually harassed. You don't deserve yet another person that they're going to come to you and they're going to treat you as, oh, can I be your sub and meet you in real life? That is also honestly so racist in a weird way. That's like me saying to a gay guy, just because you're gay, any man will do, right? You're not supposed to have standards. So just because you're dominant, anyone who is a sub will do, if they're even a sub. The majority of them are not. So I want to thank the people who gave me their concern and say, are you going to regret? I'm never going to regret standing up for myself. And if you lose money in one area, there are 20 other areas to make money if you have skill, and if you have desire to work hard and you want to experiment, and you're not afraid of pretty much putting yourself through a hard time to try new things, to get out of your comfort zone. So if you want my advice, I would say, if you are depressed, if you are trapped, if you are pessimistic, the world is fine. Sure, the world has tragedy and pain, and it can be a horrible place, but when I say the world is fine, I mean not in some kind of over-optimistic way, in a way of whatever happens around you touches you 10%, and the people who abused you today, the people who will abuse you tomorrow and you know it, that's the 90%. Humans are inherently selfish. That's what kept us alive, and I don't say it in a bad way. At the end of the day, when there is a war, first you're going to secure your own family and yourself, and then you're going to worry about the neighbor or the strangers. That's just how it is. So in a similar way, you sit there and you start worrying and saying, oh, humanity should be extinct. No, abusive people should be extinct, if anything, if they refuse help. I saw a person on Twitter saying, my father is controlling me, my father is micromanaging, why would they do that? Why not? Why wouldn't they do that? Do you know what I mean by that? I have spoken repeatedly that marriage is a way to make people unhappy, sexually frustrated, and obsessive and mentally ill. Their marriage has failed. Society has trapped us very, very nicely that if you want to divorce, is exceptionally harsh. You are punished with poverty. You are punished with social stigma. In several cultures, divorce isn't even an option. So the person starts developing obsessive behaviors to cope, and controlling their adult children is one of them. Even if they're not a narcissist, they're going to go there to cope. If your survival is dependent on your father, if he pays for your rent, he pays for your bills, he pays for your food, I don't care if you're 20 or 70, he's going to control you because he can get away with it. There are no consequences. What are you going to do? Stop eating? The reason why my father pretends to be the good guy, if I don't know him and he doesn't know me after all of this time, is that he can't get away with it. He knows that I'm gone. He knows I don't need him. I don't need anyone in that sense. And I told him, after you die, I will never see my mother again. I'm not going to go after her to harm her necessarily, unless she does it to me. But to me, she's non-existent. She's a mother who had a child, but she doesn't have any motherly instinct, just on paper. You don't try to kill your child. And he hates that. And he's like, wow, why aren't you like my friend's children? Because I'm not cucked. The only difference between me and these people is not that I'm more resilient than them or more talented than them or prettier than the girls or the things that they say. They're broken, I'm not. It all boils down to money. All abuse is financial abuse. The first year on OnlyFans, I was sexually abused by some people, not by all people, not by the majority. But people to come and push a real relationship against the site rules, and when I say no and I block them, to try to stalk me or to harass me on other media or send me emails or threaten to commit suicide or all of the other sickening things they did, that's a form of online sexual abuse. And I didn't know any better. And now you're going to do this to me now? Bye. Bye yesterday. They say the best time to start something good for yourself was a year ago, and the second best time is today. My today was last month. Better late than never. So I want to thank everyone who was actually concerned enough to ask me that you don't want me to be on the street or penniless. I still upload all of the content and a lot more content, a lot more diverse. It's doing fine, and I have many other sources of income. I didn't make this decision irresponsibly or after a lot of thinking. And there was a fan who was kind, and they asked me, and they said, are your relationships with your father going to improve because they saw my previous angry videos? Not only they're not going to improve, they're going to worsen. Because my father in some ways is similar to me, that if I was also married to an awful person for 30 years, maybe I would have ended up like him. In a sense, I logically understand that he is a product of a different generation, of a generation where people were marrying young because that's what you do, and he had a shotgun marriage because of a pregnancy, like he was baby trapped. I understand all that. But how is it going to improve when you want me to be a cuck, and I don't want to be like this person that is subservient to abusers until the day I die? There's more to life than that. So if you are abused, are you abused? Is that making you depressed? How are you going to get out? You're going to need money to get out. Shelters are not going to help you. I heard a story recently about a woman that she was in a shelter for 3 months. Then the shelter kicked her out to put other people in, and then she went back to her ex who killed her. I believe that in this world you have one person to depend on, yourself. And I don't say this in a bad way, I say it with calmness and independence. During this journey in life, you are going to find people who are going to help you if you are lucky. Say thanks and get the help. Help back if you can. But don't rely on others. Don't be this cyber-begging person that I see so much nonsense online. Like, the people are becoming stupider by the day. I saw a Twitter quote that someone said, you know, real friends never leave you. Really? So even if you have completely different interests, they shouldn't leave. Even if they go through a hard time and they don't have time for you, they shouldn't leave. Even if you backstab them or they backstab you, they shouldn't leave. Oh, wow, yeah, promote being a professional doormat. Real friends leave when they stop being friends. And that doesn't make them any less real. I say this because there are people who are saying, you know, if you left someone, you never loved them. I can love someone and then fall out of love with them. I can be friends with someone and then we drift apart. I can start a business and then lose passion for the business because the idea that I had when I started the business, it was completely different than the actual business, especially long term, because everyone in this industry is a liar. Whatever doesn't involve just dies. Whatever you don't re-examine, you don't re-evaluate, you become a stuck loser. I have so many stuck-up losers around me that you would be shocked. People who are whining, people who are going to say, Persephone, your money greedy. These people say two main things. Thing number one is that all money are evil, because religion and all that. And thing number two is that people who don't work should be given money. Or poor people should be given money. Quite contradicting, isn't it? I believe that you should help people truly in need. I definitely believe that sick people, children, orphans, animals, stray animals, you should help anyone who actually have a genuine need. But if you think I'm going to be an emotional support animal for my mother and her imaginary Ollie London type of plastic surgeries, by yesterday, what you see here is the hologram, the aftermath of me that I have left since yesterday. I don't know if this helps. I'm telling you, I'm working on other projects. I'm going to try to be here. But overall, I don't regret it. And the people who are sexually abusive, I want to say, stop trying to buy affection, stop manipulation, and go check with a mental health professional to actually improve your life. Okay, thank you for watching.